Hello, potion seller. I am going into battle, and I want your strongest potions. My potions are too strong for you, traveler.
Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be doing some more F tier Fridays. So for this F tier Fridays, I have a very special deck. Now, normally on F tier Fridays, we try to cover strategies which are F tier, or decks that are F tier, or like heroes that are F tier. It's kind of a very ambiguous term at this point, like what is F tier, or that kind of thing. But in testing an F tier deck, I accidentally stumbled upon greatness. Now, you might think that I'm kidding here or whatever, but this deck I think is going to be meta defining for the upcoming high C season. I think that I accidentally stumbled onto one of the most powerful decks in the format. And the hero we're going to be playing for today's F tier Fridays is also a hero that is near and dear to our heart. This hero has been F tier for a very long time, just completely unplayable in normal circumstances. But I found a broken combo that we can actually use to kind of form a basically one turn kill with this hero. And this is normally a hero that we're not really I guess expecting one turn kill out of. So our opponents are not going to be able to kind of expect it when they pair into us. So that is going to be like their core strategy we're kind of focusing on. This is going to be a breakout meta deck that no one is going to be expecting. So what we have here is the Sledge OTK, and we're basically using Sledge Vanvilheim to basically swing multiple times in a turn using action points, potions, and a bunch of resources to eventually just kill our opponent with Sledge all in one turn. Now, this is incredibly difficult, and also, I guess, the way we do this is, by the way, notice that Sledge Vanvilheim says, doesn't say once per turn action. You can basically activate this action as many times as you want, as long as you have the action points for it. So we basically abuse Sledge Vanvilheim to swing, I guess, multiple times in a turn by playing out a bunch of energy potions, playing out a bunch, some of the new amulets that we got from High Seas, like Ruby Amulet, which is functionally an energy potion, and we also have a bunch of Time Snap potions that are also kind of bolstered by the new Diamond Amulet, which is functionally also a Time Snap potion. So we basically got like a fourth potion of a lot of the potions that we're running in this deck. Anyways, we also are running Potions of Strength, and Potion of Strength is a card that we don't really see very often. It basically just gives your next attack +2, but this does also work on the Sledge. It means we can basically just cash up a bunch of power to try to kill all in one turn. And then for, I guess, like the other cards in this deck, the one card that does make this combo slightly inconsistent is Crazy Brew. And Crazy Brew is like a Time Snap potion plus an energy potion plus a strength potion all in one, but you have to roll a 5 or a 6 to get there. Now, you might be thinking that, why would you ever play this? This is completely inconsistent, but this is actually the only way to consistently do the one-turn kill, and the way that we're going to basically improve the consistency of this is by running Gambler's Gloves. So the Gambler's Gloves will hopefully allow us to get either at least like 1 or 2 sixes, which will basically give us 4 resources, 2 additional action points, and then also +4 on our next attack. I don't think it's very likely that we're going to hit on all 3 of them, but if I do, then I'm going to clip it and put it on TikTok or whatever. Also, I guess like some kind of like the core components of this deck, lots of D-Reacts, lots of block cards. We're also running a 1 of Spicy Knickknack Bric-a-Brac, which is going to synergize with the Crown of Dominion, so we can basically sack a gold and get 2 potions out of our deck. Similarly, the Call to the Grave Back Alley Breakline is also a combo that we can use. So we basically play Call to the Grave and Back Alley Breakline to basically get like a functional action speed blink. And then we can play out 2 potions on a turn, so we'll basically thin our deck and also accelerate us towards this combo. And then for the most part, that's basically the entirety of the deck. We also have 2 10-foot tall and bulletproofs in the sideboard for very, very slow matchups, which is probably the only thing that this deck is going to be able to beat. But yeah, we might as well run these again to try to set up the combo. And also, I think it's actually like not bad because we're drawing a bunch of no blocks anyways. So like not drawing 2 additional cards is like kind of fine for this deck. Yeah, so this is more of a like theoretical OTK as opposed to a guaranteed OTK, because the problem with Sledge is that you can get to like 40 damage, but a lot of people have armor in this game, so getting past the 40 damage breakpoint is going to be, I think, a little bit difficult. So we're going to do our best to kind of like try to get past that, but we might not get the full OTK, which is why Sledge is still on the list, so we can just finish them off with like a Sledge or like a overpowered like attack or something like that with like Chapeau or whatever. So this is going to be the deck. This is going to probably be a nightmare to record, but we're going to do our best. So let's go ahead and see if we can get some games. All right, it's playing against a Vynnset, so we definitely want probably a little bit of AB into Vynnset, and then maybe also just a little extra armor. Putting us on first, which is also quite nice. I think, what do we want to Vynnset? Put into context, are probably not bad as blues. Yeah, that seems fine. And then 10 foot tall seems redundant. Maybe bet bigs can get cut. I don't really like this. How hard can it be to beat Vynnset, right? Okay, running flail, suck cliffs. All right, give them good luck, have fun. Where's that? Okay. Start with the sigil here, and I think we're just gonna play out a truce. And we'll just skip on our Arsenal because we don't really want to Arsenal the Fiddler's Green here. All right, they're starting out with the widespread. Pretty decent. I imagine they might be trying to set up for just a pretty big combo kill. Honest, that's entirely possible. This truce might actually not be that bad for them as well. Just given that they want to probably take a setup turn here anyways. But we at least gain 3 life, which is quite nice. The life buffer definitely probably does help against Vynnset. Alright, both gaining a little bit of life here. Let's go ahead and pitch the triple Donnie here. Then I think we're going to hold on to the Fiddler's Green and just Arsenal the Sink Below. Start swinging in with Sledge just so that we get a little bit of value so we don't have to do like the full OTK. We can do like a partial OTK, assuming that they don't block any. Alright, get that nice little chunk of Sludge value. And go ahead and pass back. They are going to be making a decent number of rune chants here. I imagine they might be trying to set up their own little kind of like OTK on us. We do have a pretty decent buffer though. So like they might not get a ton of time to do that. And all of our potions are also blues, so makes paying into rune chants quite easy as well. Alright, this seems like a pretty easy block here. That Yellow Deathly Delight is also a card that I don't tend to see a ton of. I also don't play Vynnset, so maybe that's the new tech that everyone's talking about. Could be entirely possible. So I think go ahead and just pitch or block here. Oh, they have the pummel too. That's actually kind of works out quite nicely for us. Let's go ahead and bottom a D-React so that we have it for later in case we need it. I want to just try to find our potions as soon as possible. And we'll go ahead and just pass here. Make their D-Reacts a little bit worse if they're running any. And Energy Potion is a nice start to this game. I kind of wish we had a potion on turn 1, but sometimes it kind of doesn't work out like that. It looks like they have a widespread annihilation. Maybe they're going to just send a Deathly Delight here. I think that works out pretty nicely for us. Oh, Malefic. They might be just also like cashing a little bit of value as well. Ooh, they're popping the Vexing here, which is kind of interesting. Probably means they want to send a widespread here. Very, very aggressive from them, but I kind of like it. All right, let's go ahead and pay into it a little bit here. I think we're going to go ahead and just give them the time snap as well for pitching, just so they're not able to like play out like another thing at instant speed, like what's that card called? The this Come Temptation or whatever. Kind of forget what my Vynnset cards are called nowadays. That looks like they might be Sutcliffe's. Target attack action cards against go again. Activate this ability only if you played a non-attack action. Have they played a non-attack action this turn? Are they gonna pummel me? I guess both are semi-likely. Very interesting. Been seeing a lot more pummel lately out of just a bunch of different heroes. Seems like it is kind of like the new fad. I think this works out quite nicely for us. If they want to swing in again, we also just get the ability to like pay and do additional rune chance. We still are probably going to be able to play out our E-Pot as well. So I think this game's like actually not going that bad for us, especially now that they're down a bit of armor and also down a little bit of life as well. All right, they might be counter stacking us with the potion Betsy strat. Go ahead and play out our first E-Pot and Arsenal the Shelter here. God, D-Reacts are just like so good in this game. Kind of like disgustingly good. Right, dredging it up. I think I'm going to prioritize the first Crazy Brew over the first Ruby Amulet. I don't know if that's right. We might not even need to OTK them. They might just end up killing themselves like Vynnset sometimes does. That'd be kind of funny. Like they're, what, a fifth of the way there? It's more likely than you think, I feel like. Alright, so widespread we don't really care about. I think we just care about giving them action points here, so we'll go ahead and pay another rune chance so they're not able to do anything. We're going to pitch the put into context as well. If they pummel us, I don't think it's the end of the world here. We just like lose out Rumi Amulet or whatever. Not that bad. Just want to constrain their action points so they're not able to play out a bunch of blood deck cards, because we're basically putting them on a clock now, which is quite nice. Alright, so go ahead and play out the first Crazy Brew, I think, over the Ruby Amulet, and then we'll go ahead and pass back to them. It's a pretty nice hand for blocking out. This deck is surprisingly effective at what it does. Just running a bunch of block cards, D-reacts, and then also potions. I don't know what particularly inspired me for this deck, but I feel like we haven't played Betsy in a while. I feel like I owe it to our viewer base to play Betsy every now and again, even though the hero is like utter trash. Right, coming in with the Deathly Delights. Go ahead and just keep paying for it a little bit. And go ahead and just block it out. Play out a Ruby Amulet, Arsenal the D-React pass. We're in pretty decent shape here. Ooh, we got the Call to the Grave combo. Or I guess, no, we don't technically. I think this is just a knick-knack bric-a-brac hand. We may Arsenal the Call to the Grave depending on how this turn goes. I could see that being a possibility. We could also just pitch it. If they're in chance, it probably makes more sense to pitch than anything. And then we can just like get rid of the Time Snap potion to get 2 potions out of our deck, which is quite nice. Seems like a pretty good turn. Go ahead and I guess just block with the On the Horizon. I think we can maybe afford to give them like a couple rune chance. All right, keep the Crazy Brew on top. I guess it doesn't matter since we're reshuffling anyways. But yeah, I guess we'll just keep the Fate Foreseen for next turn in case we need to scry something to the bottom. Or op something to the bottom, rather. My ex-Magic the Gathering player is showing. Alright, Knick-Knack Bric-a-Brac. Let's get probably just 2 E-Pots. I think the E-Pots might... Sapphire Amulet's also like pretty reasonable. I think this will work out. It's kind of wild that Knick-Knack Bric-a-Brac actually works with the new amulets, just because of the naming convention or whatever. It's pretty neat. Oh, we get to draw back into a Crazy Brew, which is also a pretty big deal. Because this is functionally like all of our potions combined if you don't think about it. This card's quite fun. Very much a Welcome to Wraith card. Alright, let's continue our strat of just blocking out everything they're doing. They're slowly still kind of dying a bit to Blood Debt. And then we're just going to Arsenal and Staunch. Could still get pummeled here. That's fine to leave on top. Crazy Brew developed. We got the Put in Context, which we can develop this turn, as well as the Fiddler's Green, which we can develop into our graveyard. And then we have the Shelter, which we can develop on one of their attack actions as well. They unfortunately can develop a call out of their Banish, but the widespreads are going to be a little bit more difficult to develop. I don't know. Lots of development going on in this game. All right, I think... I guess we're going to try to Arsenal this. So go ahead and just like pay a little bit here. I guess we want to Arsenal to Put into Context, I guess, more than anything. No, we probably just want to Staunch. That still works out fine, I think. I do still have that call we have to worry about, but they need to lose life to play it, which is at least kind of nice. We're still at 48, which is pretty big deal. Yeah, they might just not have the way to kill us, especially if we're kind of doing this. Right, discarding a rendition. Yeah, not incredibly useful against us. Can they actually use that on themselves? I don't know if they can. We will go ahead and just keep paying for it, though. Do you need to be a little bit careful about pummel? Not that careful, because we still are sitting on double D react. Go up to a nice, healthy 51. And we get our third crazy hero line, which is quite nice. This deck works surprisingly well against decks that are trying to be very defensive into you, or just are not able to like convert if you like don't attack into them. Surprisingly decent. What card do they have in Blood Debt here? They have the Cull and the Widespread. So maybe just looking to play out a Widespread this turn. Right, unfortunately, our Call of the Grave tech is not working incredibly well here. That's okay. Go ahead and just keep paying. They might be stuck with a D-React in Arsenal, which is also kind of funny. Let's... Oh, they're cracking the E-Pod. Oh, they're just showing me the pummel. That's actually kind of funny. So I guess we will play around the pummel. They have pummel in Arsenal. All right, yellow pummel. Very spicy. All right, first Potion of Strength is online, which is nice. And then they've managed to like deal 20 damage to themselves, which is kind of wild, but I guess Vynnset just kind of be like that sometimes. They do have a way to force a rune chant through, so if they're like sitting on Succumb or something, that also kind of enables them to push that as well. So it might be overdue for a couple more pummels, which we do need to be a little bit cautious of. But it's not gonna they're not gonna be able to pummel Eloquent, which is at least nice. I think we'll go ahead and just keep blocking a bit here. Oh, they do have Gogan on this, which is a little bit annoying. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and give like 5 here. They want to banish a D-React from hand. I think I'm okay with that. We're gonna try to hold on to the energy potion here if we can. I think this is like a pretty decent call if they want to go for it. I don't know what's in their hand, but it seems like it's quite solid. All right, looks like they're just going to play out E-Pots. I will follow with my own E-Pots. And yeah, we are very, very close to getting the full Exodia. We need a couple more like Time Snap potion effects. I think that's the main thing we're missing, but these are functionally also Time Snap potions. Ooh, yellow Putrid Stirrings is a card I've not seen a ton of. God, I just love Marco Gonzalez's art. He's the absolute, the master. All right, let's go ahead and pitch the last ditch effort for later, if there is a later. Then just play out a Time Snap. I think they're maybe going to try to set up for a pretty big turn on us. Yeah, we definitely need a couple more Time Snaps to get this to fully work. Because right now it's like a little bit inconsistent whether or not we're going to get the action points. All right, there's the Putrid. Yeah, Putrid is also like pretty solid card, just enabling you to turn on Vynnset. I'm kind of like a fan of this card, but I know why people don't run it, just because it's like very clunky. This kind of does feel like a pummel turn, so we're gonna go ahead and take the rune chance. I think we're just gonna block a little bit. Go ahead and immovable from hand. They want to cull, I think that's fine. We'll lose a potion of strength, but it's not the end of the world. Looks like they have another cull as well. That's fine. Still gonna be taking a lot of blood dead here. And we're still just sitting on our arsenal, which is pretty nice. Stick to the plan, basically. It looks like they are running some number of D-Reacts, so it seems like their hand might start getting a bit clunky. All right, we found another Time Snap potion, which is quite... Oh, Fog Down. Non-attack action cards lose and can't go again. Okay, I don't think that actually matters into us. Interesting, but it is something that they can like spellbound creepers in, which is kind of cool. If I went for like a money where your mouth is, I kind of like that. That's a very spicy tech choice for Betsy. Alright, seems like we're just passing. A-okay with me. Go ahead and just tectonic plating and then play out the amulet. I think we're also just gonna pitch shelter here just to like get it overhand. Yep, this seems pretty good. We got Deathly Whale, widespread. Wonder if at some point this game they're gonna try to set up for like a super wide turn. I don't know if they have enough life buffer to try to do that. Like, it feels like you need a lot more resources than what they have currently. Alright, go ahead and pay another enchants. I probably should have paid for the staunch, but I wasn't paying attention. This is probably fine. It's a little bit suboptimal because now I can't really block it. I guess we could theoretically block it with staunch and chapeau. No, there's just no way that's worth it, right? I think we just take this. It's just 2 rune chance. Like, we could have blocked it if we held on to the Never Yield. But my eyes are also kind of like glazing over from playing this deck, so you'll have to bear with me. Pretty egregious Betsy misplay there. Alright, blue mob as well. It still works out because we can just like pay another chance. It does just mean that they get to go like a little bit wider. Cole is also kind of funny there. All right, we need at least like one more turn to do the full Betsy OTK. I think we need like a couple more time snaps, maybe. Like, I think if we get one more time snap, we're probably in business. Riches, sure, can stay on top. All right, again, our blue mob, that's fine. Yeah, I think Vynnset is one of those decks that just like cannot deal with this strategy very well. If you're not attacking an Vynnset, like they just have so much trouble actually like converting their hands. To some extent, this feels like bullying, but it's also bullying a Vynnset player, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. All right, we got 5 here. We can staunch, block, play out potion. The deck truly does just play itself. We're gonna actually just like pitch and rune chance. That also kind of works. The pitching is also quite nice, just because we're able to. Oh, they could pummel this. I'm concerned about pummel a little bit. If they pummel this, I think we just let them have it. Yeah, I think we don't even staunch this. I think we just discard the staunch and like pitch Triple Donnie. This is fine, I think. So we still have one more pummel to worry about. All right, Sigil is also fine. Just means we get to get closer to the OTK. All right, 2 strengths. We have all of our E-pots out. We have still just the time snaps that are the biggest issue. Wonder what happened. Did we shuffle at some point? Maybe that's what it was. We maybe like shuffled, and like some of the ones that we maybe pitched are like still at the bottom or something. Yeah, because it feels like we haven't seen a ton of them yet. All right, looks like we're going to set up like an annihilation play here. I think it's fine. Could thin our deck a little bit. Yeah, let's go for it. All right, what do we want in our graveyard? We could get the back alley. So how many potions do we have left in the deck? We have the time snap. We have 2 time snaps, an amethyst, and then just a bunch of other filler blue cards. I guess we'll just get the back alley. And then truce it up, I guess. We just avoid an arsenal here. I think this is fine. Kind of hoping they attack into us, because it means we might have a chance of drawing into a potion. In a pretty good spot here, I think, though. If we just get one more time snap, I think we're like guaranteed. I think right now it's not fully guaranteed, which is why I'm not going for it. All right, they probably are going to pay into this just to force through the rune chance. Oh, maybe they're not paying into it. Okay. Also makes sense. Alright, breaking the truce, that's fine. I think we're just putting the put into context here. Pitching both of these. Put into context are also just really solid as blues in general. Alright, on the horizon, look at the top. Top card is truce, that's fine. They do have the pummel, but fortunately we do have just another D-react in hand, so the pummel discard is not incredibly relevant. Still have that fog down that's floating around. Are they running 2 of those? They could be. Alright, where are our timestamps here? It's kind of getting a little ridiculous. Oh, actually, whoops, sorry. We wanted to crack our gold here to try to dig towards potion. Alright, unfortunately don't find potion, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and just like pitch the Triple Donny, play out the truce until we find that last time snap. Kind of belaboring the point here a little bit, but I think it's still fine. Got a lot of breathing room. Where is that last, like, we have 2 time snap potions and an amethyst amulet. We should be seeing at least one of those pretty soon. I guess we did shuffle, but like, I feel like I would still expect to see some number of them. At least we still do have a truce out, so if they attack in, we were drawing potentially towards a potion. Alright, both gain a little bit of life. I'd say, okay, their life doesn't matter because we're setting up for the OTK, right? Alright, last ditch effort, not useful. I think we're just pumping into a giant imposing visage. How much can we pay into this? We can pay X equals 10. I guess we'll go ahead and get Nerves of Steel and just pass. Leave this all at the bottom. All right, we drew our time snap, so we just need to play one of these, and I think we're in business. We're gonna play one of these, then we're gonna crack our Sapphire Amulet on the next turn, and then we're gonna try to kill from there, I think. Is the rough plan. And then we can just kind of get rid of one of these, I think, as well. Let's go ahead and pitch that all you got. Play out time snap. We can hold on to this time snap as well. They might be trying to set up for a bigger turn here. Or maybe they just don't have the infrastructure to like send anything here. That could also be the case. Next turn is definitely going to be the pop amulet turn. Because I think they're also out of pummel, right? They might have one more red pummel. It's a little bit scary. Alright, pulling the tunic. Do also have to be a little bit concerned about face purgatory. But I don't think it's that big of a deal, because we're basically just like discarding a blue or whatever. Ooh, they're gonna cast Oblivion. Ooh, that might present a problem. That's still fine. You can just kill that, right? I guess we can take a little bit of rune chance and then maybe just swing sledge at that. I guess that's also an option. It's probably worth killing that. Even if it means we're a turn off of the combo. Maybe we don't need to, though. Huh, I don't know. Do we kill this? I don't think we need to. We could. Like, what does it really accomplish? What does the deck really accomplish? I guess is a better question. I guess we're killing it. I don't feel incredibly strongly about that. But it's probably like one of the only ways they can actually like try to kill us from this position. Alright, so now we crack the Sapphire Amulet and basically just block out whatever they're doing. We draw it back into a bunch of blues. I think we still have like... We still have sinks. I think we have a sink left in the deck, and then like an amethyst amulet and some other stuff. Alright, go ahead and pay with, I guess, put into context. We can also Arsenal Call to the Grave, potentially. Alright, so we're maybe blocking with it, and then just pitching Roaches. Yeah, I guess that also works. They discard the Riches here, I don't think I really care. I think that's fine. we wanted to be a little bit safe, we could have like held on to the riches, but I don't think the riches necessarily doing a ton for us here. All right, last pummel's out of the way, which is also a pretty big deal. So now we just crack our amulet, and I think we should basically be good. I think there might be a little bit of crazy brew RNG, but we basically got most of the shit out. All right, this works, I think. So as long as they're not sending anything huge at us this turn, I think we're pretty good here. All right, let's sit up. Let's get cracking some potions. All right, so we're starting with our crazy brews, right? All right, rolled a 3. Is that worth rerolling? Probably not. I will not destroy. Oh, I guess I did destroy it. Whoops. Okay. Anyways. Okay, we got one of them to hit, which is quite nice. Let's see if we can get another one to hit. All right, we got 2 to hit. All right, we're in business. Okay. And now we just have to click all of the potions. So we are floating 12 resources. We have 5 action points. And now we just sludge away. They do have a face purgatory that they can notably do. But they only get 1 of those. Alright, we did it! Yay! We killed a Vynnset. They said it couldn't be done, that Vynnset is the completely unkillable hero, but we somehow managed to get there. Fortunately for us, that they kind of managed to do half the work themselves, but I guess that's just part of the hero design, right? I don't even think that's their fault. That's just like kind of how Vynnset is, right? They'll just take like 20 damage of blood debt on a given game anyways. Oh, this is actually hilarious because we can get an extra action point, right? Is that how that works? Faculty, if an ability or action card effect puts it. Okay, so it's not, or if an activated, no, okay, so it's not an activated ability, so it doesn't go. But it would be funny if we got an extra action point off of that. But anyways, I think we're swinging Sledge a couple more times here at least. And we did it. We assembled the Betsy OTK. Obviously had to be done with Betsy, and like obviously Victor is not like a better choice to execute this OTK, but I'm still very excited about it. Because this is, I think, the second time I've actually gotten it to work. The first being against a Fang. Yeah, Betsy, pretty good hero. It looks like we're just, I guess we have like one more swing after this, but the sledge, so powerful. All right, we did it. Oh no, they're still, okay, I guess they're still dead, but they're blocking out a little bit. Well, that was a game of Flesh and Blood. I think as it was intended to be played, and Welcome to Wraith, clearly as they printed Crazy Brew. I think if they didn't want this to be a viable strategy, they probably shouldn't have printed Crazy Brew and Welcome to Wraith. But again, I think this is just a forgotten card. But that's kind of like the fun of the card, right? It's just like a weird card that I guess technically exists in the game. This deck is like kind of hilarious though. Like if you have a bunch of potions that you're willing to just throw in a deck with a bunch of D-Reacts, like it kind of sort of works if you just have like a like outlet for them, which I guess Sludge kind of is. All right, that was our first win with the deck. Let's see if we can try to get one more with it. All right, so we got a Fang. Fang is definitely one of the heroes that we're capable of beating with this deck. Do we want the Crown or do we want the Good Time Chapeau? I think this might be a Crown matchup. Let's bring in the Put into Context. I think those are quite solid in Fang. Give them a good luck, have fun. I think the Bet Begs can get cut. Bet Begs also like fine-ish. Yeah, let's run it like this and see how it goes. Let's hope to draw a potion in our opening hand. All right, Truce is also not bad. Let's go ahead and filter a little bit here. I guess we'll filter with like the Shelter. Opponent is probably going like, what the fuck are we playing against? But I don't blame them. Turn 1 Truce is quite nice. Alright, we got the Knick-Knack Bric-a-Brac early. The game is basically over. I'm kind of curious why they gave Betsy access to so many new potions. Seems like a maybe oversight in terms of development. Betsy might just be too powerful if you just give her infinite potions. So what do we want to do here? We probably want to just deny the hit here. I think we can shuffle Potion of Strength, or we can like put Potion of Strength back in the deck. I think Potion of Strength is not like the essential potion. think here we're just going to be looking to like play out a crazy brew, maybe block with the Nerves of Steel Arsenal the brickback, and maybe IP with the Amulet. Yeah, that seems fine to me. Just slow them down off of getting a ton of mark. Could also knick-knack brick-a-brack now Arsenal the Crazy Brew. That's also reasonable. Let's go ahead and get, I guess, the Ruby Amulet, and then let's get another Energy Potion. I think I try to prioritize the Energy Potions first, if I can help it. It's a pretty decent hand, though. Fiddler's Green is kind of a powerhouse in this deck. Just being able to like block a dagger, or, like just an annoying small breakpoint, and then also gain 3 life. It's kind of like a Sigil of Solace that also blocks 1. It's kind of crazy. Right, seems like they're just going to pump into a pretty big dagger here. I think we're just going to staunch that. And then like maybe try to hold on to the shelter. It seems like they maybe want a Blade Flurry instead. That's also fine by me. Go ahead and just staunch for 5 here. Try to deny the mark as much as possible. And actually cover 6 on the next thing if we want to use our quick dodge. Might be wiser to just use plating or whatever. So they have a Scar Tissue in hand. Let's go. I guess go ahead and just use plating, assuming that they're going to play it out. We'll use a little bit of the information we kind of gathered to just deny some additional mark. I think that's fine. One of the benefits of this deck is that sometimes your opponent will just like randomly IP the entire game with a D-React in Arsenal, and then you kind of just win based on that. Which might be happening here, given that they didn't play that out, but could be anything, right? All right, go ahead and block a little bit here. Don't think we need to get aggressive with Sync and try to like filter towards like a potion or whatever. I think we'll just give them a little bit of block here. They are going to punish us, I think, a little bit, but that's fine. Tooth and Claw is definitely kind of like a punish for this block, but I think this block does play around like Scar Tissue and other stuff, so kind of okay with it. Feather's Green, notably not super important in terms of like holding it back in hand. Then we're just going to go ahead and shelter this. If they pump here, I might just get both now. That seems fine. Now we're going to find out if they're sitting on a D-React or not. Because they should be able to play pretty much anything out of Arsenal at this rate. Alright, go up to a nice healthy 46. Truly some interactive gameplay we're having here. Ooh, Bloodshed's not bad. I think we're just going to go ahead and block 7 here, and then we have the put into context, which notably affects attacks with base power. All right, Sink Low on top. It's probably a pretty good one. Try to deny the mark as much as possible here. Definitely looking for one of those Call to the Grave so we can like do a double push and turn. Right, they might end up getting the mark here, but that's fine. See what they do. All right, Crazy Brew is pretty good draw. So we box 7 on this hand, so they're probably going to be able to force through at least a little bit of mark. But we slowed them down pretty well up until this point, so it's maybe not that big of a deal if they get turned on. All right, buff power plus fealty, so they're almost certainly going to just be able to get the mark here. I think we're going to go ahead and just let them have it. I feel like they've earned it at this point. Fangs can get a little fealty as a treat. I think that's fine. And they're still sitting on a D-React, so they're basically just playing out 4-card hands every turn. I'm assuming they're sitting on a D-React. At least it feels a lot like they are. Alright, we get a Crazy Brew out, which is quite nice. It's the second Crazy Brew. Oh, the sad thing about Knick-Knack Bric-a-Brac is it doesn't get Crazy Brew. It's kind of sad. This is like the whole reason you play Knick-Knack Bric-a-Brac, right? So you can just get a bunch of Crazy Brews out. Alright, let's go ahead and block with On the Horizon. See what there is to see. Still have a potion we can play on next turn, so we're not like eagerly searching for a potion. Fiddler's Green is also fine to have on top. Ooh, they have Glint. That's pretty nice. I'm beginning to question why I put together this deck. And I think the ultimate answer is I just wanted to play with some more Betsy. But I think that there's like a deeper portion of me that just wanted to play something that's very stupid. Feels like it's been a while since we've done an F tier Fridays. So definitely kind of missing it a little bit. Ooh, March of Loyalty. It's a pretty good one. Definitely going to be able to get that extra mark there. Push a little bit of damage. They hit me with the Snatch. That's going to be some tech that I've not seen since the very early days of Fang. Pursuit is also another one that I haven't seen in a while. But they're going to be able to get it off here, which is fine. Yeah, I think they're still sitting on D-React. Because they haven't played this Arsenal at all yet. So it's got to be something they just like cannot play. Ooh, Call to the Grave is going to be one of the cards we're going to try to look to set up in Arsenal. Let's go ahead and just block the 1 here, and then we can put into context, play out a bunch of stuff. Definitely want to Arsenal this in case we get a hand with double potions so that we can like kind of put both of them out. Another Glint. Glint's also not a tough card I feel like I've seen a ton of in Fang lately. It's like fine card though. I don't know, I've always been like a bigger fan of like the very yellow heavy Fang lists that are just like trying to like get online as soon as possible. Feels like those lists are pretty good, but I've also not kept up to date on like the Fang developments. Do need to be a little bit careful about Provoke here. They might not have it. They are generating a lot of fealty, which is quite cool. I almost wish there was like a payoff card for like generating a bunch of fealty. Because it feels like once you get to 3, it doesn't really matter, right? It'd be kind of cool if there was like a reward for getting multiples, like you can like maybe pop them to like buff your daggers off of like a legendary card or something. That'd give Fang like kind of like a neat end game or something. So they're making a lot of them here. Like, it's kind of weird that like having 9 fealty doesn't mean anything. It's like doesn't mean as anything compared to like 4 fealty or 5 fealty or whatever. All right, gain a little bit of life. Sigil, gain some more. Then we can go ahead and Arsenal this Call to the Grave in case we get a double potion turn. All right, is that our second break line? How many break lines have we used? I think that's our first break line. So we have a second redundant copy in the deck in case we need it. So we can probably afford to block with this one. All right, coming with the Blaze. We'll go ahead and just On the Horizon this. All right, Call to the Grave on top. Not super useful since we already have the other Call to the Grave. But it's fine. Go ahead and just keep blocking. All right, so we've been provoked. Pretty good, actually. We have to discard a D-React here. And then we can just Fate. I think we want to Fate that to the bottom, just to dig towards potions faster. It's kind of a deck about filtering too, which is kind of cool. Reminds me a little bit of Zen in some weird, perverse sense. You just want to filter towards your potions as fast as possible, and this is actually a pretty good hand. So we can Call to the Grave, get the back alley break line, double potion, Arsenal potion, and then also get a Riches off. Assuming they don't provoke us, which I think they pitched one early, so they still have one floating around the deck. But worst case scenario, we just give them the Riches, and then that's fine. This could also be a hand where we want to quick dodge. We have like a little bit of buffer room though. So maybe it's not that imperative to quick dodge this. Especially don't want to quick dodge with potions if I can help it. I don't think we're dying this turn. Like, we got a lot of life to work with. Like, we're maybe taking, like, 15 damage or whatever. But, like, we have enough life buffer for that to not really matter. And there's the Long Whisker. That's fine. So you get 2 modes on this. Buff and mark. Sure. Okay with me. So that's our. We're gonna be using our last back alley here. I think that's okay. They have one more D-React. They get like the full kind of fire and brimstone combo, which is quite nice. It's pretty sweet. So they basically did like what 15, 16 damage to us this turn. It's a pretty good Fang turn. They're still sitting on a D-React, so it doesn't really matter, but pretty good for what Fang can do. We'll go ahead and call to the grave. Do our double potion turn. Where is our back alley? Am I missing it? There it is. All right, energy potion, time snap potion, arsenal the other potion. Pretty good spot to be in right now. Guess we can block with the last ditch effort. This deck kind of crushes any deck that's like just trying to do a back and forth game. It's kind of like a mid-range killer, which is kind of interesting. I mean, you can't kill Gravy, you can't kill Prism, can't kill Kano, can't kill Verdant. What else can it kill? Probably can't kill like Acilio, which is kind of embarrassing. What is another deck that it probably couldn't beat? Probably does pretty well against Victor. I'm trying to think what else. It's weird. This deck is like surprisingly good into like a lot of the field. Oh, IP2 is very suspect. All right, go ahead and play out the Potion of Strength, Arsenal the Amulet. I think the Amulet's maybe higher priority, so maybe we should play that out. Oh, we don't have another back alley break line. Very sad, so this Call to the Grave is kind of useless. It's kind of fine, though. You may just pitch it to, like, Quick Dodge here. You can also, like, get rid of Potion of Strength. I don't know how necessary the Potion of Strength is. We actually pitch the potion like Quick Dodge here. That might be like the most efficient use of our hand, and then we just get to play out an E-Pot. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of the Call to the Grave this game. Seems like it was definitely kind of worth the include. Just being able to play out 2 potions on the same turn is a pretty big deal. Alright, go ahead and just Quick Dodge. Alright, there's the March as well. I think that's fine. Maybe they had a hand that just like didn't have attack reacts in it, so they weren't able to like use their daggers or whatever. Maybe what it seemed like. All right, how close are we to going off? I think we still need a couple more potions. How many like action point potions do we have? We have 2 action point potions, plus like the randomness of Crazy Brew. So maybe we can like equate that to roughly like 3 action points. Yeah, we still got a bit of ways to go, I think. But we'll just keep blocking until then. It's kind of wild how well this deck does against Fang. I feel like that's indicative of like... I feel like that's indicative of just Fang not being that great. Feels like he just doesn't have like the damage to necessarily like push through this. Okay, go ahead and just keep blocking. We could cycle this, but we also like don't have to. We're like a little bit close to dying. But hopefully they just don't have like attack reacts in hand. Alright, it seems like they maybe are just like stuck with a hand of D-Reacts. Go ahead and play out the E-Pot, Arsenal the Amethyst pass back. getting a little bit close to dying, but not like fully yet. Let's go ahead and just pass here. They might try to provoke us. Should be awkward. Ooh, perforate's not a bad one. Yeah, we might need to go off this turn or the next turn. Do we have the resources to do so? Maybe. We have all of our 8 pots out. It's definitely still a little bit suspect. I almost wonder if we weren't supposed to put into context that, just so we have like a little bit of additional block value. It's also entirely possible. There's Searing Gaze. I wonder if we're supposed to take 4 here. Seems like a bit bad. I think we can maybe afford to pitch like 1 time snap. I think that's okay with me. We still have a Diamond Amulet in the deck somewhere. Just block with this Never Yields. It's a surprisingly wide turn from a Fang. Might also be giving this Tectonic Plating block just to deny them pitching if they have like a D-React in hand. It's kind of an interesting block. Alright, another Potion of Strength out. Alright, we have a lot of potions still left in the deck. It's a bit concerning. Still fine, though. Try to use our That All You Got pretty aggressively here. Alright, so we have another That All You Got. We might need to pop off based on this. Still don't know if we're going to be able to fully kill. But maybe we just have to like try to go for it. Let's top that, I guess. Might need to swing Sledge a couple times, maybe? I don't know. We might not actually be able to kill the Fang here unless we roll like very high on our Crazy Brews. So you have like, what? How many potions do we have left in the deck? We have like 4 potions or something. We have 1 Time Snap. We have 2 potions of strength. We have 1 Crazy Brew. It's like a decent amount. Oh, it looks like they're just going to pursue here. Interesting. I almost want to just take this and send Hammer so that they get the D-React out of Arsenal. Do I want them to do that, though? Maybe playing out the Truce is better. No, maybe swinging the Sledge is correct. Because they'll get the D-React at Arsenal, but like we might be at the point in the game where it doesn't matter because they just have so many D-Reacts still left in the deck. Don't think we quite have it just yet. Let's go ahead and Tectonic. Swing the Sledge. Still have a couple Hunsons, I think, also left. Where are those? Yeah, I think they have those still left in the deck as well. Very interesting. So I think this is D-React in Arsenal. Alright, yep, that makes sense. So imagine they're probably going to use like 2 D-Reacts here. Seems pretty good. Oh, 3 D-Reacts. Okay. Very spicy. Maybe they want to hold on to that one. Ah, they want to sink. Also, I guess makes sense. It's definitely the benefit of not giving them the opportunity to use D-Reacts up until this point. So we just get to basically eat 3 cards for free. Imagine they're probably going to want to draw here. Alright, Crazy Brew number 3 is a very big deal. I think we're just passing. They can maybe staunch something or whatever. Could also provoke something if they want to. If they do, I don't know if we care. We just give them like last ditch effort or whatever. Alright, perforating. Seems good. Go ahead and give them the That All You Got. Alright, so we have like 1 more potion I think we need to get out. I think we're just passing on this as well. Can block with a last-ditch effort. Not really opposed to that. So imagine they have something here, and then we just want to Arsenal and Staunch, probably, just to stay alive. Alright, we're getting closer and closer to dying. And they still have the Vynnset somewhere in the deck, I think. I haven't seen a lot of those, though. Maybe they're trying to, like, save them for, like, a bigger turn. I guess that also makes sense. Okay. Alright, we're functionally 16 life. We can Arsenal. So, this gets awkward. We might want to end up pitching this push into strength. It might just not be relevant enough. Could also pitch and just send 6 so that we're like forcing cards out of hand so to get them closer to kill range. That also might be worth it. But we can Crazy Brew. I think that maybe is more fun. Go for the fun play as opposed to the correct play. We're running a little bit low on cards, but I think we still got a bit of room. Block 3 here. The Vynnset's going to be still a little bit scary. It's like semi-likely that they're able to just like kill us with like 2 Vynnsets. There's one of them. We can maybe staunch that. Decision. Interesting. Wonder how many Vynnsets they're running. Feels like a relatively low amount. I think we're not going to do the full staunch. We're just going to play Amulet. Actually, no, it's probably wrong. We're probably supposed to pay the full into it and then just crack Sapphire Amulet. So we might be getting too close to dying here. Yeah, I slightly regret not paying the full into that staunch. That might cost us the game. Yeah, especially off a double Vynnset. It's pretty scary. We do go to 8, though, functionally. And then we can draw up. If they can't kill us, we're in business. Alright, I think we're pitching the Amulet here just to have a better chance of drawing into block cards. And then I guess we're arsenaling this Sapphire Amuleting. Alright, I think it's now or never. That all you got could be pretty important here. So I don't know if we're going to afford... I don't know if we're going to be able to afford to keep the truce here. Because they definitely still have that 1 Vynnset remaining, I think. Somewhere. Yeah. So we should have been up an additional 3 life this game, but that's fine. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. We might need to block a little bit more here just to, like, stay out of the kill range definitively. But we're still probably in okay shape here. Ooh, Provoke is a little bit nasty. So what does that mean? We just give them that all you got, probably? Yeah, it's a little bit rough. We are definitely approaching the scary zone. So if they go for Vynnset, we're actually fine here. Okay, I think we're in business. Maybe we have like another turn, but I didn't really know exactly what they were drawing into. Alright, I don't know if this gets there fully, but we might just be able to kill them with Sledge on the back of this if they try to like block out. Alright, let's go ahead and I guess pitch the Riches here to gold. Draw into another blue. Let's draw into one more blue. Perfect. Alright, now with these Crazy Brews, I think we're going to have to do a lot of work here. We will reroll that. Roll into a 6. Excellent. Roll into a 5. Alright, we're in business. One more. Oh, 1 on the last one. Okay, that's fine. So we got 2 of them, which is good. We can time snap. We Amethyst. Potion. Crack all these. So we have 13 resources, 5 action points. Swinging in for 14. I don't think we get there, but it's like pretty close, surprisingly. I think this does pretty well against any hero. Like if we're able to like attack, I think a little bit more, we get them closer to range. But I think this is still most of the way there. Yeah, this is why I put the OTK in parentheses here, because it's like it's an OTK if you're assuming your opponent doesn't have any armor and like also can't block at all. But we did at least get to kind of do the thing. They just need to print like 1 or 2 more potions, and then we're fully meta at this point. I guess we'll put the immovable on top so we don't die. I mean, we're dying anyways, almost assuredly, right? But we got them to 7, which is pretty alright. We did do the thing. I think this is a moral victory if it's not a victory. Ooh, they have another provoke that's also scary. Yeah, I think there might just not be a way to like fully get through the Fang fridge here. That's okay. We did the thing, which is important. Let's take 1 here. Glint. They are also kind of running out of steam, though. We could potentially sledge to victory if they don't have the attack reacts left to like fully go wide. Alright, well, we cannot block this. Alright, go to 2. I think we're out of block cards in deck, though. I wonder if we needed the 10-foot tall and bulletproofs to fully secure the win here. That's like fine, though. I still think that in spirit we did the Betsy OTK, even if in practice the OTK did not fully succeed. I put him to 2, or I guess a little bit higher than 2. Yeah, the fridge I think is maybe just a little bit too much. I think if you're playing against a hero that like does not have a fridge, the strategy maybe works a little bit better. But I think they probably have us here just if they're drawing back into like the provoke or anything, and assuming that we don't have any blocks in hand. Yeah, I think our goose might be finally cooked here. But our Fang player, or Fang opponent here, did definitely deserve the win here. Definitely one of the meta dominant strategies of Betsy OTK. And we did get most of the way there, even if we didn't fully get the full OTK. I think if we get so the real problem is we didn't hit with the 3rd crazy brew, and I think that's what cost us the game. So I think it's probably just a skill issue on my part. But I think this is going to be it for today. So this is the Betsy OTK list. This is the list of cards that you are legally allowed to play in Classic Constructed for some reason. Yeah, it's a crazy brew that I came up with. And yeah, if anyone wants to iterate on this deck, feel free. I don't think I'm ever going to think about this deck ever again. This deck is like surprisingly playable. Like maybe the secret is we need more Call of the Grave plus back alley break lines to like double potion on turns. The knickknack bric-a-brac also seemed like it was pretty high performing, so maybe you have to like go up on a bric-a-brac as well to like do more like double potion turns, so you're not like drawing it as into them as much in the late game. I think that actually might be like pretty decent. But yeah, I'm not gonna think about this deck anymore. This deck is a pile of trash. Feel free to play it at your own risk. You might run into opponents who don't want to play against this whatever potion Betsy OTK deck. Yeah, but hope you all had fun, and yeah, I think I'll see y'all next time. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it would be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.